I believe genuinely that many of my colleagues, aren't criminal, aren't destructive. They have been tricked. They have been fed false information, and encouraged not to look for themselves, not to think for themselves. Medicine's like any other profession. You go along to get along, and you don't really question your elders, and there's a sort of consensus. And the power in medicine, of course, also is in the knowledge that we all have that we're all supposed to agree on. So anybody that asks questions is always looking for trouble, I guess. But we're always going to need doctors, and we've got loads. And I think that we need better leadership, and we need a different model for regulating us and overseeing us. And I think there needs to be much more participation on the ground. And I think this is true also of our whole structure of governance and our whole political system. We need to regain the power and influence at the level of the ground into how our lives are structured and how we behave and how as doctors we work. And that, of course, means shining a light and getting rid of the malign influence of huge money behind the scenes. And I'm talking about big pharma, of course, and corporations that have immense lobbying power and almost infinite marketing budgets. And people have been calling this out, for many years. It's almost not a joke, but every single top tier medical journal editor that leaves, the first thing they do is they write a book, or they declare actually how corrupted the medical journal system is, and how hard it is to discern what's actually true and what's completely fake. And there are influences at every level of medicine, from your first day at medical school, all the way through to the day you retire. Actually, there's big money maintaining massive markets, and with no intention of actually moving us towards real health and wellness. So I think the integrative model has a lot to offer, and the journey that many of us have been through to this different understanding of what's required is a model that we sometimes have to try and accelerate many of our colleagues through. But it's going to be much harder for them because they've got a much shorter time to sort of have to get their head around differences in the way to think, and perhaps the way that they've been, certain things have been hidden or left out of their teaching. So it's going to be tough, but I think the benefits are huge, and I think we're going to be a better planet for this very difficult time, and with some more difficult times perhaps to come. But I don't think we have a choice. And I think most people are in medicine for the right reasons, I think we can heal together, but we need a public process of discovery and accountability that everybody is going to benefit from, not just from doctors. And we're hopeful that we might be able to start that process or lead it a bit from New Zealand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Matt. And just to emphasize to people, here we have someone who had a belief, who had a stance. He was willing to sacrifice everything for what he believed is right. I think that's the foundation of medicine. I think that is the kind of leadership that we need in medicine. And I would hope, Matt, that in a new world, in a new place where medicine is trying to heal and to fix the wrongs, that we bring those people who have demonstrated the true integrity of doing everything that they can on behalf of their patients. I think that you're a tremendous example of that. I think Barry Young is another one. And so two people from New Zealand who have stood, drawn a line and said, I will not go beyond this. So we appreciate that. We are inspired by it. And we hope that it inspires others as well.